Season 39, War number 9, and we are up against PYCB. And this time my team will be Professor X, Omega Sentinel, and White Magneto. I have another Ebony Maw boss this war, which is why I needed Professor X, and this is the team I ended up going with. I'm taking Path 5 in Section 1, as well as that Mangog on the shared fight, and then I'm taking Path 5 in Section 2, as well as Bishop on the Power Snack node and Dr. Doom on the shared fight. For the boss island I'm taking Mordo on the Power Efficiency miniboss node, as well as finally the Ebony Maw boss. This is a bit of a different team setup than I usually run, and I will explain everything here in just a second. Up first we have this Invisible Woman on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it nodes, and I'm using this fight as an easy ramp up fight for Professor X. The game plan here is to simply just get to my special 3 with 100 channeling charges, knock down the defender to remove the protection, and then spam special 3s for the rest of the fight with mutant power boosts. And that is basically what you do in most fights with Professor X, and this one is not any different. Now, as for my team setup, there are a couple of reasons for the champions I chose to bring. For Omega Sentinel, there are a couple. One is that I needed her for a couple path fights, and two, she has a great synergy with Professor X. Normally when you win a fight with Professor X, he gains one more persistent charge, making him gain more prowesses on his special 3, as well as gaining some other bonuses I can't really remember off the top of my head. But with the synergy, he gains 2 instead. So to get full ramp up for Professor X, he only needs to win 2 fights, which is perfect for this war, since I'm gonna be taking some tanky defenders with him. And next up we have Omega Sentinel's first fight, a Havoc on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and heavy hitter nodes. And the game plan here is very simple. I'm just gonna be taking Havoc down with mostly basic attacks, as well as a couple special 2s weaved in there whenever I get the chance to do so. I will also be trying to knock him down as often as I can to remove the protection, which is why I also didn't use any pre-fights here. I'm not gonna be trying to go for any specific debuffs that Omega Sentinel inflicts, and instead just focusing on hitting the opponent until they drop. As long as I don't get hit, especially by a heavy attack, this fight is extremely simple. With all the armor buffs Omega Sentinel has, I'm not gonna be taking any plasma damage, so Havoc doesn't really do anything to her. Now if I were to get hit, I would trigger Omega Sentinel's auto block, and that consumes all of her armor buffs. So with all the plasma debuffs on the opponent, if I had triggered the auto block there, I would have melted from the plasmas. So as long as you don't get hit with Omega Sentinel, she works very well for Havocs. And next up we have a Mangog on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Professor X, trying to get him ramped up fully for the rest of his fights. I do also have a White Magneto pre-fight here, placed by my teammate, to allow me to ignore the right back at it node, since I do need to spam some heavy attacks with Professor X to ramp up his channeling charges faster. So with the debuff immunity, the passive stun is very nice to have. Now against Mangog, I don't do full 5-hit combos and instead do 4-hit combos, because otherwise he would gain his hatred charges, if that's what they are called, I believe they are. And when he gets to 10, using a special triggers he's unstoppable and unblockable and all that, which I don't really want to deal with. He gets there anyways because he spammed special 1s, but at this point I'm already at my special 2. However, I mistime it with the protection and the damage reduction from the Ebb and Flow protection node, as well as the damage reduction Mangog gets with his charges. He took absolutely no damage from it. So I couldn't get a special 3 or even a special 2 spam chain going there, which did complicate this fight a little bit. But as long as I can get to my special 3 now here, I should be just fine. With the protection down and Mangog not having too many of his charges, these special 3s will actually be doing damage, and with the mutant power boosts it allows me to simply just spam them over and over until he eventually dies. However, again, for some reason I was at a special 3, tried to use it, it used a special 2 instead, and I simply just don't know why that happens sometimes. It's very annoying. It's probably a bug or something, but I just can't really figure out what exactly is causing it. Still, got the fight down without any real issues. Next up we have a bishop on the power snack and 1 too many hits nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Omega Sentinel. The reason why is because she is immune to nullify, making power snack node do absolutely nothing. And she is also a tech champion, so her basic attacks will not be giving Bishop any prowess at all. Without prowess, his specials are not gonna be unblockable, so you can simply just bait special 2s, even block them if you have to. You're not gonna take that much damage with Omega Sentinel's armor ups, and that just makes the fight extremely safe and easy to do. Now her second medium is an energy based attack, so I would suggest not using that one, simply because you don't really need Omega Sentinel's debuffs in this fight, and if you just don't give him any prowess by finishing a combo on light attack instead, that's just the better way to do it in my opinion. Sure, the medium hits harder, but do you really need the extra damage when the defender doesn't do anything? I would not say so. He goes down even without recoil masteries in just about a minute, and it was a very safe and simple fight. And then we have a Kitty Pryde on the Ebb and Flow intercept node, and I'm taking this fight with Omega Sentinel. And like always, the game plan is to just stick with the Cowardice debuff mode, because Cowardice completely shuts down Kitty Pryde by removing and preventing all of her prowess. Without prowess, she can't phase, and she can't really do anything else either, making her an extremely easy defender. You basically just need to hit her until she dies, and she won't be trying to stop you in any meaningful way. I will be going for intercepts whenever I get a chance to do so, just to remove the protection and make the fight go faster. Though that is not necessary, this is a pretty fast fight even with the protection up, because Kitty Pryde doesn't really have the highest health pool. She's not tanky at all, without her phasing at least. Next up we have a Sasquatch on the Ebb and Flow Intercept and Mighty Charge nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Professor X. And I used my first White Magneto pre-fight here as well to allow me to ignore the Mighty Charge node with my parries. The damage increase is also nice, but it's not necessary. The game plan here is to get to my special 3, land an intercept to remove the protection, and then spam special 3s with the help of the mutant power boosts until he dies. But just to make sure that I can actually do that, I need to first get him into his Wrath as well. When he enters the Wrath, he loses all of his rage stacks, which means he also loses all the damage reduction he gets from those stacks. Each stack is 5% damage reduction, so if he has a lot of them, the damage on my special 3s will be reduced heavily. So instead of having to deal with that and risking my special 3 spam not working, I wait for the Wrath to trigger, then I use my Falter to go for the intercept. I dropped my block on that dash attack, tapped him with a light, which counted as an intercept to remove the protection, and now the fight is on lockdown. I simply just spam special 3s until the fight is over. Next up we have a Doctor Doom on the Ebb and Flow Intercept and Mighty Charge nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Professor X. And I did also use my second White Magneto pre-fight here to deal with the Mighty Charge node. Now the game plan here, just like in the previous fight, is to get to my special 3 with 100 channeling charges, landing an intercept to remove the protection, and then just spamming special 3s until the fight is over. And here I don't need to work with any extra damage reduction or anything like that. The only real problem, if you can even call it that, is Doom's aura, because I can't use heavy attacks to knock him down while it's up. But now that I'm already ramped up with 100 channeling charges, I don't need to go for any more heavies. Now I just need a special 3 and the fight is over. But before I get there, I decide to eat a couple special ones here, because apparently I can't dex them. So that was nice. Gonna cost me a potion here, but I mean, at least it's the special 1 and not the special 2. And then I just start spamming my special 3s, even with the aura up, because the damage reduction and the resistance to knockdowns only applies to heavy attacks, special 1s and special 2s. It has absolutely no effect on special 3s, so there is nothing to worry about there. The fight goes down here without any real issues. Well, apart from eating a couple special 1s, but who cares about that? Next up we have a Mordo on the Power Efficiency and Missing in Action miniboss node, and I'm taking the fight with Professor X. Now, I was supposed to use a White Magneto pre-fight here, but I kind of forgot about it. But luckily, Professor X bypasses Evade with the vigilance he gets when he reaches 25 channeling charges. So, that was nice. I remembered it just as I went in, so at least I didn't try to go for a parry heavy at the very start of the fight. Now the game plan here is to again get to my special 3 with 100 charges, then spam special 3s until the fight is over, and it sounds like a very simple and an easy to execute plan. I even had an invulnerability boost here, just in case Mordo uses a special 3, but he caught me on a dashback there while he had the vigilance up, so my falter didn't save me either. And yeah, that could have been bad. He got to his special 3, but he didn't use it, which was very lucky for me. I know it's just Mordo, his special 3 can't kill anything, but still, having the opponent in Alliance War get to their special 3 with absolutely no safety net is very scary. I luckily did manage to survive that without having to eat any of them, but yeah, I need to be way more careful next time. Then the final fight of this war, an Ebony Maw boss that I'm taking with Professor X, and since I forgot the White Magneto pre-fight on that Mordo, I used it here instead for extra damage. It's really not needed, but it's nice to have, I guess. As for the game plan, it's the same as usual. Just get to a special 3 with 100 channeling charges, and then spam special 3s until the fight is over. Professor X being a global attacker, he's just gonna be cleansing all of those unsteady debuffs Ebony Maw inflicts when he uses a special, as well as any falter debuffs he also inflicts on you. Even if a falter debuff slips past the cleanses, he still bypasses miss, so there's nothing to worry about there either. Ebony Maw is just perfectly countered by Professor X, and that is exactly why I ranked him up previously. Now, when I say Professor X counters him perfectly, well, I guess it's not perfect, since he's not immune to Nullify or Degeneration. So Ebony Maw can still nullify a buff from you with that special one, and that will inflict Degeneration, although only once in a fight. It's not gonna be enough to kill you, but it can hurt a little bit. As for the special 2, I would suggest avoiding it if you can, because if you eat it, you will take some heavy degen damage. One last special 3, and he goes down. Professor X is just amazing at what he does, but it is costing a lot of mutant power boosts, so I do need to stock up on those. As for the results, we did end up winning by a single death, 5-4. We would have won on the time as well, but still that was extremely close.